The Western genre has long been a staple of Hollywood and movies in general, but some may be surprised to learn that the highest-grossing Western of all time isn't technically a Western. Since the early days of movies, Westerns have told the stories of cowboys in the Wild West. These movies often take place in the 1800s during the westward expansion, but can also be set in modern times. Regardless of time period, the best Westerns play with the ideas of justice, morality, and legacy. Through horseback riding, gunfights, and train robberies, Westerns showcase a specific time and place. Though Westerns are not always blockbusters, there are a handful of Westerns that have grossed a notable amount at the box office upon their release. The highest-grossing Western of all time is 2012's Django Unchained. Directed by Quentin Tarantino, Django Unchained tells the story of a slave named Django who earns his freedom by agreeing to track down a group of outlaws. Once that is done, Django goes on a mission to save his estranged wife from her cruel master. On a budget of $100 million, the movie earned $426 million at the box office. Quentin Tarantino called Django Unchained a Southern, not a Western. How Django Unchained constitutes as a Western. Although Django Unchained is considered the highest-grossing Western of all time, Quentin Tarantino has argued that the movie is not a Western, but a Southern. For the most part, this distinction seemingly has to do with geography. While Westerns typically take place in the western half of the United States, a Southern would be rooted in the American South. Django Unchained begins in Texas and moves into other southern states such as Tennessee and Mississippi. In this way, the general setting of Django Unchained makes it technically a Southern. However, despite its location, Django Unchained definitely still has elements of a classic Western. The time period is the same as a classic Western movie, and the stylistic choices are also similar. There is an abundance of violence, horseback riding, and natural landscapes that are reminiscent of Westerns. Furthermore, the movie's main plot has to do with revenge and justice. Django is very much a cowboy, going on a mission to save the one he loves from a very dangerous enemy. Why Django Unchained is far from a traditional Western movie. Django Unchained is about more than outlaws. Kerry Washington as Broomhilda Vaughn Shaft and Jamie Foxx as Django Freeman in a scene from Django Unchained. It does have to be said that Django Unchained goes beyond what other Western movies have to offer. While many Westerns are focused on a rather small-scale story, Django Unchained tackles an entire systemic issue: slavery and racism. Django is not just fighting against random outlaws, but a massive national problem. In this way, his story is much more important than just lawlessness and justice. Django Unchained is an epic tale of fighting for what is right in a world that is eager for you to lose. Whether Django Unchained is a Western or not, it is definitely a movie worth watching. With a star-studded cast and great direction by Tarantino, the movie is thrilling and visually appealing. It may be difficult to watch at times, but it tackles issues that are incredibly important, especially in regard to America and its history. All in all, Django Unchained deserves its rank as the highest-grossing Western of all time.